What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA channel. And today's video is all about Conor McGregor and Mike Perry going back and forth, being fired from the BKFC and then apparently being rehired. Was he ever fired? Was he even really rehired? I don't know. I never thought he was. I thought it was all just for press and maybe Conor McGregor just lashing out and having a little bit of an episode after Mike Perry lost to Jake Paul in that boxing match. Okay, but anyways, I just thought it would be worthwhile to make a video, get people's thoughts, and let you know my opinion on the entire ordeal. So let's back up to the beginning. Let's back up to the point when Conor announced that he was going to be a shareholder of BKFC. Now, it was never disclosed to what capacity that was. Now, here's the quote. So this is Dave Feldman talking about the partnership with McGregor. Said, I'm going to let him disclose what he wants to disclose about that. Feldman said on the MMA Hour, I'm going to tell you that he has needle moving equity. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Needle moving equity. He has substantial equity in the company. He has enough equity to really make a big play here, and I think he's going to. He's going to have a say. He's going to have opinions and say ideas, and we look forward to it all. So that's what Dave Feldman said. So what does that mean? And I've tried to do as much research as I can in terms of figuring out the exact percentage, but all I can find is people saying he's got a minority stake. That could be up to 49% theoretically, right? 49.9999% potentially. I don't think that's the case, however. And again, the reason why I don't think that's the case is for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it would be a pretty hefty price tag. Number two, as I've mentioned previously on this channel, and I am not trying to get down on Conor McGregor. I just have said many, many times that I don't think he has the liquid cash available that people think he has, just because of everything he's been through recently, the way he spends money, etc. So I don't think he is able to even get a majority stake ownership. I could be wrong. Maybe he has a lot of cash coming in that I don't know about, and maybe he hasn't nearly been hit as hard by his expenditures or these other legal troubles as I think. But that's kind of my opinion, and I think it serves Dave Feldman well. I think it's in his interest to say that Conor, or to kind of allude to the fact that Conor has a larger stake in the company than he really does, because he's still one of the most famous people on planet Earth. I'm not talking about mixed martial arts. I'm just talking about period as a celebrity, which is amazing. As an MMA fan, I love that one of our athletes is so famous. But anyways, so I think it does really, really good for the organization. We always see Conor making an appearance at the pressers. Everybody watches those interviews. So it is moving the needle. Him being, you could say, the spokesperson, the amount of equity he has, I don't think moves the needle, but them having him at the events, him being such a fan of the sport, him even talking about the sport in a more favorable way than MMA, which kind of shocks me a little bit when he does that. And I kind of wish he wouldn't, because I still love MMA more than anything. And I think most of you guys agree with me. But either way, it's definitely doing great things for the business. Okay, the reason why I am curious, though, to know his equity stake and how much power he actually really has is because of what happened after Jake Paul defeated Mike Perry in that boxing match, when Mike Perry stepped in short notice when Mike Tyson had to initially pull out. So if you guys remember, after Mike Perry lost, man, and Conor was saying Mike was going to win and was supporting him and had his back. They did a face-off after a BKFC event, and then this happened. Mike, you're released. Well, I missed an apostrophe. Mike, you're released. You could go compete in your smelly, dirty boxing championship thing. The smell of it. Good luck. Remember back in the day when Conor was fighting Khabib, he was like, Joe Rogan, don't put that hat on. That's the smell of the thing. Don't do it. That's one of his classic lines. So anyways, the smell of the thing. And then he goes on to continue with this tweet. Jake Paul is the biggest piss bag I've ever seen in my life. 40-pound weight difference, juiced out of his head. So that should mean you should have fired Mike Perry then. But I think he was just going off and still crapping himself in there. Nikisa, you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right. You could never. The Athletic. Oh, okay. Alluding to some little pokes about PEDs and whatnot. Lots of people have said that. I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea. But anyways, there was the drama, and there was Conor was asked about it later on, I think, if it was real. I don't know if he tweeted it or talked about it, but he basically kept insisting that, yeah, Mike Perry's out of the organization. That's it. He's done. He's fired. It's my company. I have something like this. I'm I may not be quoting him exactly correctly, but he stuck to his guns and was saying that Mike Perry is truly out. I, along with a lot of other folks, felt that just was not true, and Conor was pushing for that and maybe wanted that, but I never thought that he had the authority. I didn't think that was part of his duties to basically hire and fire talent. Obviously, he's going to have a say. He's an important part of the team, regardless of his ownership stake. Even if he had no ownership stake, but was the spokesperson, I'm sure he would have authority, or he could have some sort of position that would be listened to in terms of who to hire and fire. But anyways, that was my take, but I didn't think it was real, because why would they fire Mike Perry? People love Mike Perry. Mike Perry is a legend in BKFC. I was just talking to Justin yesterday about one of the issues with BKFC, which is longevity of fighters, because of the type of damage that they take. It limits the lifespan of most of the BKFC fighters. And of course, as Justin mentioned, there are anomalies, and one of those anomalies is Mike Perry. So when you have somebody who is as tough as Mike Perry and as durable as Mike Perry, and somebody who probably has the DNA, the genetics to have those strong hands. Justin broke his hand in his first BKFC fight. One fight, broke his hand. I don't know if Perry has ever broken his hands. Maybe he has, but when you have somebody with that right DNA and that right mindset coming in there, they're going to be a cash cow for the organization. So it never made sense to me that they would fire him. It just seemed like, but I also think Dave Feldman maybe didn't want to come out and call Conor out and be like, nah, he doesn't have the power to do that, because that would look bad on the organization as well. But regardless of what happened, was it real? Was it not real? And by the way, Mike Perry hasn't fought in BKFC since, which started to make me think a little bit. But whatever the case may be, we can all rest easy now, because at the last presser, check out what Conor said this last Thursday.
Savage Combat Sports, Conor. I was just wondering, we got the king of violence, we got the king of the streets, and you being the king of combat sports, is there any interest in going in for the king of violence belt in the future?
Who's got the king of violence belt? Jeremy Stevens?
It would be Platinum Mike Perry. You already scared Jeremy Stevens out of here. He's got the gloves
thing with the big soft gloves. I don't know what he's doing. It was all, what's it called? The dirty stuff. The dirty. Yeah, it's all right. He should come home. Mike should come home. You know what I'm saying? He still shows love to the game, and we'll always have love for Mike Perry for sure. Yeah, me and Mike would be a great fight for sure, 100%.
All right.
So I don't know what I mean, and we haven't seen Mike Perry back. And like I said, maybe he doesn't have official authority to let Mike go, but maybe he was listened to, and maybe he was heard, and maybe he really protested to Dave Feldman. I mean, anything is possible. He's such a famous figure and such a well-known figure that maybe they would listen to him just on his authority and how much attention he brings and how much sway he could have. Actually, now that I'm thinking out loud, I don't know if he maybe on paper had the authority to do it, but I suppose if he said, look, if he comes back, I'm not coming to that event, I'm not going to promote it, something like that, could actually been true. Regardless, though, it looks like he's letting bygones be bygones. He's actually being kind of Mike Perry. And you do notice he's taking all these trips. He's meeting with Donald Trump. It does seem like he's more settled and calming down, which is great, because whether that means he's going to run for president of Ireland or come back to the fight game or whatever, it sounds like he's getting back on top of his game. And that's a great thing for Conor, for his family, and for the fans as well. But anyways, it now looks like Mike Perry is being welcomed back into the BKFC. So hopefully what this means is we'll see Mike Perry back in BKFC, because I don't care what you say, Mike Perry is the most exciting fighter in BKFC. Can't wait to see that. We saw actually a bare knuckle boxing match on yesterday, Friday, in Montana for Fusion Fight League. Me and Justin were co-commentating together for it. That was such a fun fight. Amazing knockout. The sport's fun. I still prefer MMA. That's still my bread and butter, my favorite, but it's a fun sport. Anyways, I digress. Mike Perry is back, whether he's been rehired, whether Conor is now inviting him back, whatever is exactly happening. Hopefully this simply means that we will see Mike Perry back in BKFC sooner rather than later. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will see you in the next video. Take it easy.